What's up, YouTube fam? It's Dark Angel's Journey. I'm Shakira. Alright, so it is Monday and I'm ready for some back testing. I spent literally all of yesterday going through that 6-hour video and all this great content and realigning myself and all that good stuff. So, um, I most likely will not do anything in the AM unless it's like super obvious, but let's go see what's up. In the meantime, I figure I would like to do some back testing around the breakers, the silver bullets and things, mainly looking for entries with the breakers so I can understand like what the general practice is. Because I'm noticing that sometimes it taps the end of it and then drops, and then sometimes it dives further into it, maybe consequent encroachment, and then drops, and it's kind of crazy. So if that sounds like a good time, let's go already. All right, so let's get tiny. I'm sure Kitty's probably gonna come hang out with me. Let me fix my little section here that he likes to jump down on and move my journals for the moment. All right, so let's come in here. Well, first let's go take a look at the Dixie. Let me switch my template here. I'm finding inside the dark is better for my eyes. Outside, the light is better. What is this? Just keeping the treasury bonds in sight. So in the meantime, let's come look at this. It's just a monthly view. Oops. Like that. Right, the auto thing is gone. That's annoying. Now we have to do it ourselves. Boo. I mean, fine, but boo. Okay, so let's see. So we closed up here. Actually, sorry, let's look at the weekly. Alright, so on the weekly, we have that inversion, fair value gap, nothing down here except for the bullish order block. And then there is a monthly fair value gap that they tapped into once, twice, a few times here. Very shallow tap, so there's relatively equal lows down here for them to come down to. We'll have to see how they want to start. The week starting somewhat red, but as we know, that could always change relatively quickly. And this up close candle is holding price at the moment, but we're just getting started. Let's drop down to the daily. What do we have? What's juicy up here? Sometimes I have to zoom in real tight, A little fair value gap right up here, so it wouldn't be weird for them to want to reclaim that. They've already tapped into it here. And then this weekly inversion fair value gap, we'll still see how they behave around it. On the daily, we've got this fair value gap that they've dug into. And let's see, what's the close of this? Do I not have it showing? Symbol, no. Status line. There we go. Open, high, low, close values. Need to have that in there. All right, so the high of this is 102.153. The low of this is 101.9. So there's a small volume imbalance in here as well that they've closed this candle below. So in terms of PD arrays they could be reaching for, put it down here because it's getting in my way. Is this fair value gap right here on the daily. Kitty is up and down the stairs today, I don't know. She on the daily. And let's put that inside. And I'm trying to find a color that works in both light and dark, Oh, that's pretty bright. Okay. And so far we've opened here and then dropped. So we've got this order block that's they're hanging out inside of, so still a bit of a wait and see. This is a bit of a shift over the short-term high, so I want to see if they're continuing lower, then they need to break down here, bust through. If they're gonna continue down lower, then they need to take out this order block right here and past the midpoint and start digging into this. It's very juicy down here. Otherwise, up top, nothing, nothing. And this relatively balanced space up here, they'd have to take all this out. Gotta turn this into an inversion, which they already did. Dropped. Anyway, so let's get back over to ES and let's do this. And I'm gonna drop up to a weekly and I'm gonna just hide stuff. There's too much going on in there. So from a weekly perspective, still looking pretty bullish. It's not strange for it to want to come down to, you know, do a little reversal and reclaim things. There's a fair value gap down here, volume imbalance right here, order block right here on the weekly for them to come play with. Old high up here with the volume imbalance, so that could be a nice little spot for a reversal. We'll see. And so the day has started hanging out inside of this fair value gap down here on the daily. So I am personally still expecting them to go up and reclaim that volume imbalance that we saw on the weekly. So let's plot this back in and see where we are. So I had specified this daily fair value gap, the midpoint, 0.5, and the top of it. And then this is the higher time frame one with the gap that we're expecting them to dig up into. Let's go down to 1 hour. Let's see. Let's take a look. There's a volume imbalance that formed. Oh, we can take this off for now. And I don't know how relevant this last week's opening gap is going to be, but we'll see how they behave. Right now, the daily fair value gap they are digging into. And I'm going to pull this across the weekly volume imbalance there. Okay. And let me open up my new week opening gap actual and take a look here. So 625, we actually opened up here. So on the 5-minute, there is a gap right there. So I'm gonna come back over here, leave that this way, and I'm gonna go in the 5-minute here, and there you are. It's the opening range gap. Gonna use different shades for this, something brighter, like a yellow. And maybe adjust the color to something brighter. Too crazy. But that's inside of the volume imbalance, so. And let's look at the session. So London's range. All right, so let's see. Gotta remember I put it down here now. So this is London's high. That's the London session high. And the London session low. Just gonna note. So dropped precipitously from London on the 5 minutes. They're coming up for this opening range gap. Like they busted through it like it was paper mache. Bah. Where's the midnight open? Whoa. Okay. Just gonna remember to note where that is so I can see what they're doing. So midnight opens about there. There's 7. Yeah. So midnight opens up there. London's high. Oh, so we'll see what they're trying to do. I'm going to do this. Okay. So interestingly enough, they've already taken out those lows. So if they're going to take out the London high, then the New York high from the previous week would be of some kind of interest. Anyway, 8 o'clock. And before I even dive into any of that, let's take a look at the 15-minute. Can we not? So on the symbol, let's remove that. I don't want to see that. And, not that, not that. What are these? Okay, not that. So it's got to be on the canvas. I'm trying to ignore. I'm trying to remove that. I always forget where it is. So scales. Okay, symbol name. There we go. Sorry. Thank you. Bear with me about that. And good. And let me just save as apply as default, because then that way every time I do it I can just set that. Okay, so 15-minute bellwether. Oh, let me take my executions off. We don't need that right now. Okay, so big drop. I'm gonna make this even lighter so it's not so distracting from last Friday. I don't know if it's still relevant, but we'll figure it out. On the 15-minute though, remember right there? 15-minute. Yeah. So we have the volume imbalance. My cat is yelling at me downstairs. I'm like, I don't know why he feels like I need to come down there right now. So we've got a premium fair value gap coming into this. And let's move this to the right so we can see it. And the volume imbalance that they tapped into. It's also, gotta get used to it being down there. Let's see here. I'm a little high up. Oh, and for this one I just need I don't need the optimals, I need these guys. So we hit the 0.75 and we haven't made it to halfway of the fair value gap yet. All right. Since it is 8:17, we do have a shift here. Anything exciting? Like a fair value gap or anything? Let's look at it in 5 minutes. So we do technically have a low traded through breaker. And they roll back up. So if I'd taken the top of the breaker right there approximately, probably would have Since there's a fair gap right there, I'm trying to keep it at 5 or 6 ticks. Could have gotten my 20 ticks, 24 right there. Yeah, good. And this occurred at 6:25. All right, so I'm still relatively neutral on this. So let's pull up a back testing. I think let's pull up a back testing one. Let's rename this to back testing. And let's do some of that. Okay, and let's move that. Let's get on the daily. All right, let's just get a replay. Stop. Okay, how far back did we go? 31st of May. Okay, so let's go into 1 hour, and I'm just gonna look at. I'm curious about the lunch and the afternoon sessions, so I'm going to just do this and roll up to about there. Okay, and then drop down to 15 minutes. And let's see. So, on the 15-minute, we've been down for a bit. And this is 9:45, 9:30. Good. Okay, 9:45. So in this scenario, both the London low and the highs have already been taken, so makes me feel like we're in some sort of consolidation. I unfortunately have to roll back up into, sorry, kitty, into the higher time frames here and see what we're doing. Actually, weekly on this time frame. Okay. What we're doing with our lives here. Remember it's down here. So, at this point, oh, if this kitty thinks he's coming over here after having just gotten his poo-poo on to sit on my lap, he's got another thing coming. There's going to be some butt wiping, for sure. In fact, let's wipe some booty right now. I'm going to pause really quickly so I can go do that. 1 second. All right, so that was gross. See, I knew it. Sorry, guys, I had to go. I know it probably doesn't seem like anything to you, but I had to go clean Kitty's poopy self. His, oh my God, just ridiculous. His paws were so disgustingly poop filled that I had to use like maybe 4 or 5 wipes. I'm gonna have to bathe him. Like, bathe him. Like, proper bathe him. Ridiculous. All right, buddy. But this is how I knew you were gonna come over here with your poopy paw and try and sit. After you had all of that, had to wipe his butt like so good. So good. Anyway, back to business. Back to business. All right. So we're doing the high level. Oh, and I forgot to check the calendar. Dude, just sit right there, okay? I don't want your poopy paw near me. So it's Monday. Nothing exciting today. Tomorrow we have some 8:30 medium stuff, some CAD stuff, and 10 a.m. Consumer confidence. Fed chair talks 9:30. So yappy. Thursday, Fed chair talks again at 2:30 a.m. Dude, that's early. Why? Uh, okay, some Thursday should be fun. Some GDP, unemployment claims, pending home sales at 10. It's gonna be a little volatile in the morning. Mm. And then some, PCE comes out this Friday. Nice. Nice. Anyway, yeah, that looked like a nice long right there. All right, so let's go back to our back testing. So we had this. What is going on? Oh, my screen keeps going out. Like I can't see. Okay, just came back. All right, so I'm gonna try to see if I can do this without So let's go, let's go weekly gap high. Oh, he's coming back, y'all. Kitty, for real. Oops. Okay, let's delete this and try and just, so high level control. That's the gap low, because that's what I think they're ultimately reaching for. But then we had the rest of this, the whole volume imbalance right there. So, and let's go back down to a 15 minute. Do we have, are we, yeah, okay, good. 9:45, perfect, perfect. Right, and this was in May, right? So, silly me, if I'm gonna go back that far, I should do the June contract. So, that's gonna skew everything. Really? That's weird. Oh, whoops. I don't need the 2024 version. Oh, it's gone. Right, we can't even use it anymore. Huh, that's weird. All right, well, you know what? Let's just use ES1, the full thing, for testing. And quit playing. And quit playing. Okay. Huh. Odd that I'm not seeing the imbalance that I see on the contract in here. It's not the best. All right, well, whatever. We're back testing and looking for specific things. So let's do that. Let's hit the replay button and let's go. So that's gonna limit how low I can go. All right, so the 5th of June here. Okay. Let's go up to the weekly at this time. Okay, 5th of June. We're reaching up into this weekly fair value gap. So it's a nice premium right there, weekly. And we've got a volume imbalance below here. Also on the weekly. Let's put that inside, thanks. And giant fair value gap. So let's drop down to the daily and let's take a look at the structure. So, been hanging out in this range for a bit of annoyance. Low, lower low, traded through. Bullish breaker. Ah. Okay, so let's take a look on the top of this thing, right? So, and it's a giant wick, right? Let's do this. Let's eyeball about 50% of that. I have it down here. So we'll do this. Am I right with the eyeballing? Oops, and let go. There. So 50% just about there, a little below it. So that's at 40.6775, and this low is at 40.6875. So it stopped like a whole thing above it. Um, and then this guy tapped into it. Okay. So on a daily, you'd want to be below this. It's a fair rate gap right here. Let's take that back. Well, there's a fair rate gap here, so in essence, it should relieve this one open. Use this one and roll up, which it did. This guy would have, taken that high, came back down again and gave it another opportunity, and then rolled up. So we are on Monday, June 5th. Okay, let's drop down to a 1 hour and drop these in, and let's get cranking. All right, so when I hit my read this back to, shows this 10. Okay, let's go 9 a.m. Let's drop down to 15 minutes. The auto thing is really annoying though, I gotta say. Okay, so I've got this 15 minutes. Let's be clear. So we were heading up, big consolidation right now, still. And then we have this higher time frame thing. So they need to break out of this to be bullish. Otherwise, there is, well, for London, the sell side under here. Ah, sell side under here. And have they taken the London high? Nope, they made relative equal highs. So let's just specify buy side up here. Now, for bullish, they'll leave the London low alone and run away. So what do we have? We have, that's low, low. Mitigation block, we shifted above it. So mitigation block right up here. Let's see how they've behaved at the mitigation block. Huh. Look at that. They've respected it. I'm just gonna do, do I have an MIB in here? Doesn't matter. Stand a bit annotate it. So that's the mitigation block high. And using the highest green candle. Well, technically, if I'm being honest, it's this one. Because of the body. Ooh, look at that. So the high of that, 42.8650. The low of this candle, 42.8650. The low of this candle, 42.8650. Wow, they've really respected the heck out of that. If you're gonna take this entry, nice. Okay, so now we have another shift right here. It is 8:45. I'm gonna drop down to a 5 minute. Right. 5 minutes. So we have a shift here. Relative equal lows here. Fair value gap that they've tapped into there. Let's take a look at where we are in terms of, if we just eyeball it, they've definitely dropped back into a discount. If we were, I'm just curious because I already do optimal trade entry, but just curious about that. So they dropped into the optimal trade entry area here, into this fair value gap, and then meandered about a bit. This is messy. I wonder if this was a news day or something. It looks kind of gross. Let's take a look at the calendar and try and be mindful, right? The week of June 5th. Let's go to this week. It's a Monday. Okay, so 9:45. Okay, so 10 a.m. we have ISM PMI happening on this day that we're testing against. And this is gross choppiness. Ugh. Okay, and so it's 8:55. Okay. All right, so what, 9:15? I've taken the London high. Oof, nice move. Got to the halfway point right there. digging up. Okay, so 9:30 we rolled up. All right, coming back down. So new scenario. Actually, do this. So this range right here, ultimately, with it. This range we've got, and I'm gonna go up to 15 minutes. Don't lies and deceit. Anyway, assuming we didn't know this was here, right? We know that we have news coming in at 10. And we have this volume imbalance, and they came to this order block right here. Okay, you didn't need to tell me that. But anyway, so if we're looking, so it's now 9:30 to 11 as a range. 10 o'clock would be where I'm actually looking for something. Fair value gap right here. But in this general vicinity, what do we have? This order block right here. There's a volume imbalance right there. But there's news coming out at 10, so let's wait. We saw 9:50. Ugh. It's just mean. 9:55. Whoa. 10 o'clock. News right there. Let's watch it. So we're still pretty bullish. Now we have this giant wick to contend with. So I'm gonna wait a little bit because the news just came out. This is like a first stage. Let's see if we get like the real deal Holyfield. So now it's at 10:05, 10:10. Are we coming back? What's going on here? I'm just gonna pull this over. Mitigation. It's the low of it. Okay. And let's see, because sometimes I'm missing like obvious things. So let's see, where did they drop tone to? What's that? Low 42.8675. 42.8650. So just one tick above that. Okay. So I'm still in the range. If you ask me, got about 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. Okay, so they ran out all these guys. Came back down to here. Oops, why are you up? Move. And we haven't taken the London low out. So, what did we form? 1014. I mean, it's all very confusing if you ask me. Rejection up here. Okay, let's continue. Right. So you respect these guys. So a high, higher high shifted through. If I'm, let's do this. So let's say it's a bearish breaker right there, order block right there, no fair value gaps. So where would they be going? This has already been used a number of times. We've had a nice run up with it, like there. I don't know if it's still relevant. What is this? We're really close to London Low now. So, so far, I am bearish in this moment, I think. So let's, just out of curiosity, so if I had said the order block there, looking for like a nice little short thing right there. Oops. Base the order block. And coming down this way, right? Now, it needs to, the nearest low is this one. So once it crests it, then we can start to do some trajectories if it does that. But because we're at this mitigation high, I don't know for sure. It's not super clear. Now, I don't like the fact that it didn't roll back down, so I would probably kick this to the curve for the moment. Since the mitigation block appears to be acting as something, but let's go back up to a 5 minute. It's looking like balanced price ranges down here. Let's go back up to 1 minute. So I'm gonna wait for something more clear. So if you get a decent shift. Okay, so coming up here into this order block, I'll be looking for somewhere into this thing, tapping into that puppy. This looks like a nice shift here. Let's see what the next candle gives us. Okay, so fair value gap here. Let's see what a long, and we're still in this order block. So, and I feel more comfortable if we bust it past it. Okay, let's see what something like this looks like. Coming back up to say midpoint of that. Let's see. Coming down. Okay, didn't so fast I couldn't hit the buy button. So shift there. Let's see. Okay. Digging further in. Okay. Now, this is a relatively balanced space, so I like that. It's good looking good. Thinking about what we want to do, we've busted past this. Actually, no, we haven't, have we? We're still inside of the wick of this thing. So, still thinking. So we're just gonna wait. Now, ICT says that when you see these wicks, you know, be very, take partials off at minimum at like, you just switch this out. Very careful. And so, 4302, let's see. So, all right, so this order block we just crested. Beautiful, nice movement, fair value gap right here. Let's see how it behaves. Order block right there. Oh, there's one all the way down here too. My preference would be for it to stay here and continue on up. So I want to see how it behaves when it gets to this 0.5. So far we've hit 34 ticks. At 20 ticks, I would be looking to store my monies, but I want this, if we're fumbling around inside of this order block, I don't want to give back 20 ticks. So given my new model, I don't care if it's practical or not, set my stop right here. That way I get away with 250 regardless of wherever I think it's going, right? So my expectation is for it to dig in here, but I want to see how it behaves here. So let's see. So be close to being stopped out, this wick right here, and then I would have been stopped out there. Fine. Take my 250. And then I can consider another potential entry here. Because I look at the range. Oh, sorry, grab that. Do this. This high, the expectation, it just hit the halfway point, order block. This would be the general area I would expect some sort of, well, it came down to this order block, sorry, right there. And then potentially I could re-enter right here. And then, because that's what they do, right? They come back down. Now this behavior right here, don't like, because we've had a shift, came back up. Now we got to see how it's gonna, so this is it turning around, potentially. Let's look at the 5-minute. Hey, don't tell me stuff. So I'm still bullish. As long as it stays in this general vicinity and doesn't go any lower, be okay. This does like to meander around and mess with us, right? So now we're just gathering up orders, being relatively annoying. So noticing that there's a fair value gap right in here that they've tapped, and that's acting as support. So I wonder if it's better to watch it like on like a 3-minute or 5-minute, like once you've entered. Okay, so regardless of this, I'm curious to see how it behaves at this point of the wick. And if I'm doing right, back down to the halfway point, there's an order block here. Do we turn around? Okay, low, lower low, traded through, breaker. Okay, so breaker seems to be holding. In this scenario, the breaker's all the way up here. They came about midway through the breaker. And continued on up, Order block's there, so it makes sense. Okay. And see here, what time is it? Time is of the essence. So we would have entered here and then stopped out here amidst all this trash for 250. The general rule of thumb, though, because once this happened, we had the shift here fair value gap, they shouldn't come back down. Technically, I should have left my stop under here and then seen what happens, and that would have netted me not what I wanted, but it would have been better for the trade. I could have sat through all this foolishness. But this is choppy grossness anyway. Very high resistance stuff. But anyway, I gotta start my work day, so I'm gonna pause there. And I hope you guys are trading safely and your journey is going well. I am working to be more consistent with the small amounts from my last video, and that's it. So happy trading, be safe. Shakira out.